The Legend of Arsene Lupin, Gentleman Thief, is a tale that has been heard by most, but the truth known only by a few. Opinions are divisive, a playful swindler or a hardened career criminal. One thing that cannot be argued, the excitement of Arsene Lupin and his antics are unrivaled.
They're just paranoid, as if Lupin's going to get anywhere near this place.
I know you keep saying it's an impenetrable fortress, but you've heard the stories.
Don't worry, it's an easy gig. We got our posts, and that egg stays safe and sound.
Gentlemen,
An impossible undertaking for most, a walk in the park for Arsène Lupin. He was triumphant over the trials that had stood before him, but it was only with careful planning and execution that he could make every task look so simple.
oh.
Now, a combination was all that stood between him and his prize. The combination had to be somewhere. Would they have trusted the now unconscious guards with such important information? Too late. The terrified owners only trusted each guard with half the combination. A quick rummage, and he had what he required. 09. Before he tackled the colossal vault door that blocked his path, he took a moment to remind himself of why he was there.
Huh.
The vault stood open like a cookie jar, just waiting for him to reach in. Carefully, now was not the time to stray from the path. Curses locked, but for every door there is a key. Hey, presto! Just a few more steps.
Oh.
A steady hand and...
Aha.
Of course, it was not the obvious that he was seeking. There was a more valuable prize inside.
Ah. Oh.
in all its beauty, the black pearl, what he had really been chasing for so long. All that was left to do was escape. A simple task after the gauntlet of obstacles he had just championed until the alarm.
If an alarm is required. Let me guess. You read that in a newspaper. They also said I ran around in a top hat and cloak. When have you ever seen that?
A little exaggeration never hurt, but it's your story to tell, if you have a different version of events.
If you want the real truth, we'll have to go back further still. Let me tell you about a young man, Bernard d'Andrézy, his investigation and how it led to my arrest. On the second day, at a distance of 500 miles from the French coast, in the midst of a violent storm, a wireless telegraph message was received. Arsene Lupin is on your vessel. First cabin, blonde hair, wound right forearm. Traveling alone under the name Ray. The telegram was cut short, but by the next morning the whole ship had heard of Arsene Lupin's presence, and the deck was alive with gossip and rumors.
Can you believe it? Arsene Lupin stowed on board. I heard he once dressed as a Spanish bullfighter and a Russian physician.
Arsene Lupin, the man of 1,000 disguises. If what the newspapers say are true, he could be disguised as anyone.
Apparently, he's traveling under the name R. But before anyone says anything, it's not Roseanne.
The waiter at breakfast told Miss Underdown and I that he had snuck on in the dead of night in a rubber life raft.
Can you imagine it? Daring, dangerous. It's like something out of a storybook. Don't you think, Miss Underdown?
Not a book I'd read, but I can see why there might be excitement around him.
Should we be worried? I have valuables on board and the things I've heard about that man.
You've got nothing to worry about. But Miss Underdown, if you feel nervous...
Miss Gerland and I shall both be fine.
Wouldn't it be exciting if I could get the photograph of the famous Arsene Lupin?
It would certainly be some feat, as you said. A man of 1,000 disguises.
No, it wouldn't. As soon as he is caught, he'll be behind bars, where he belongs. Hey, you. Come here a second.
Bernard d'Andrézy. How do you do, Monsieur Rosen?
I see my reputation precedes me.
You did just say your name.
Oh, yes. I'll get right to the point. Miss Underdown. We're both warm-blooded males. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition. Right, Benny?
It's Bernard. I wonder if I could ask you a question?
The dining hall is past the cabins.
I was more interested in the ship's unwanted guest.
If he's not fleeing from one job, he's probably moving on to the next. Maybe his target's on board.
You think he's here to rob someone? Would he really go all the way to America just for that?
From what I've heard, he's prepared to do anything to get what he wants.
There's plenty of guests on board that would be the perfect target for him. Who's got the most to lose? Excuse me, miss.
Oh, you gave me an awful fright.
That's expected with Arsene Lupin on board. Allow me to introduce myself. Bernard Andrézy.
Lady Gerland, how do you do? A cryptic telegram comes through saying a blonde man wants to steal all our belongings, and we're supposed to remain calm.
I'm not exactly sure that's what the telegram implied.
Maybe that's because you don't have as much to lose. You mean besides how he's spent his life as a criminal, stealing people's hard-earned money? I've never heard Father say one good thing about him.
From what I've heard, he doesn't care what people say about him, just that they're saying something at all.
And what does that say about him?
I told you to keep it to yourself.
Well, you know how gossip travels. It was always going to get out.
I wanted control, how and when. What are we going to do?
Post someone on the stairs guard in the storage room. And another guard in the crew quarters.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Get to it then.
Huh? Excuse me, Miss Underdown?
The excited man with the camera.
That's me, Bernard Andrézy. But just Bernard is fine.
Just Bernard. What can I do for you? I'm traveling to see my father while he's on business with my dear friend, Lady Gerland.
I've actually just spoken to her on the deck. She has some strong opinions about Arsene Lupin.
I'm sure you won't be surprised to find I feel the same.
I'm hardly surprised with what newspapers say.
I'm afraid there isn't much to know.
I'm sure that can't be right. A beautiful, intelligent young woman like you?
Be careful. A girl could get used to such flattery.
Things seem to be going well. This voyage has a lot more potential than first expected. I'm left wanting to know more. Hopefully I'll get the chance to spend more time with her.
We're all on this ship to relax, and having him on board has changed everything.
Only if you let it.
I suppose you're right. Thank you. Now, I have a question for you. What brought you on this voyage across the Atlantic?
My work. I'm a photojournalist, or at least trying to be.
That would explain the camera.
It wasn't my initial plan. But if I could get a shot of Arsene Lupin, it would do wonders for my career.
Go on.
What would you say to you and I trying to find Lupin ourselves? An exciting notion, don't you think?
Exciting would be one word.
You don't want him to ruin your trip. And if we don't do something, who will?
I wouldn't usually be so easily persuaded. Where would we even start? What do we know about Arsene Lupin?
We don't know how he did it, but it shouldn't be too hard to spot. We should look for someone with an injured arm. He's a master of disguise, but we can only work with what information we have. We should look for someone with blonde hair. I imagine there are a number of guests on board with that initial. We should try and narrow the list down.
Very astute, Monsieur d'Andrécy. Bernard, anyone would think this isn't your first investigation.
There are many things you still have to learn about me. Monsieur Rosen!
Really? The gentleman from the deck?
Arsène Lupin is known as a master of disguise.
Don't hold me in suspense.
Do you think you could keep Monsieur Rosen distracted while I search his cabin for evidence?
And what am I to say to him?
Just be your ever-enchanting self.
That I can do.
Hey.
If this doesn't impress Miss Underdown.
Oh. Huh.
One step closer to proving it. I think I'm getting the hang of this detective thing. If this doesn't impress Miss Underdown. One step closer to proving it.
So, you decided to take me up on my offer. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist.
Yes, with that man on board.
You've nothing to fear when Louis Rosaine is near.
I feel nauseous listening. I can only imagine how she feels. There is no time to waste.
So that's how the great Lupin was caught. By two amateur sleuths?
Are you questioning my storytelling?
No, it's just the newspaper reports didn't include anything of your claims.
Claims? It's the truth. The newspapers have never been worried with allowing the truth to get in the way of a good story. The good story I was just getting to.
I just think we'd benefit from hearing all sides of the story. At least about what Inspector Ganimard did when he boarded the ship. This is what I heard.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you to the United States of America. There will be a minor delay in the disembarking of the ship. A detective has come aboard to take over certain matters with an unwanted guest. Yes, I know what his name is, and it doesn't need to be repeated. Yes, they know it too. I ask for your cooperation. The faster he's found, the faster we can get you all on board. Thank you. This detective better know what he's doing.
It's Inspector. Today is the day. He is on board, and he's not getting away this time. One more failure, and the Commissaire General will have my badge. All right, showtime. I am Inspector Ganimard, and shall be addressed as such. Everyone is to remain on board until Lupin shows his face, and I have the coward in custody. I don't ask for much. But I'm asking now, please, let me catch Arsene Lupin.
You've got him down to a T.
Inspector Ganimard, you mean?
It's like he's here in the room with us.
I've read enough about the frustrating years and near misses of pursuing his rival. It wasn't hard to find his voice.
He certainly wasn't going to let anyone get in the way of him catching his prey.
Captain, I'm sure you're eager to get Lupin off your ship.
Of course. And you're right. This is my ship.
You can save the speech. I don't want your ship. I just want Lupin.
We've narrowed it down to 2 suspects.
Saves me a job. Let's hope the captain keeps it up. I'm going to need to see inside their cabins.
Of course. Which cabin first?
Then that must mean... I'm hot on your heels now.
Inspector.
If he wanted to hide his suspicious activities, he's not doing a very good job. Keeping track of passengers and destroying clothes, it all points towards Lupin. There's nothing more to see here. Take me to the other cabin. Huh? This old dog's still got some new tricks. Master thief? Pooh. That would be obvious to anyone.
Inspector.
There's a suspicious number of medical supplies here, and Lupin is nursing an injury. Plus, he had an appointment with you? I think he's been manipulating you.
I didn't know he had so many medical supplies in here. I mean, the meeting is just between two avid fishermen.
That's what Lupin wants him to think.
Is one of them our man?
I'm going to need to speak to them both.
Detective, I've been looking all over for you.
Inspector! Make it quick.
You can add theft to his list of crimes. He's taken my jewels.
Lupin! Oh. Huh? Uh-huh.
Inspector, thank you for coming.
At your request, Miss...
Gerland, please, you must find my jewels. You can't really suspect me of anything.
It's my job to follow up on anything suspicious.
Suspicious? I was drafting a letter to a friend, and I wasn't happy with it. Is there a crime in that?
Just some good old-fashioned... Oh.
found the... This morning, I started packing my luggage, and when I went to...
Oh, if she shouts at me one more time.
I only left my cabin yesterday for dinner, then came straight back.
Who did you dine with?
My friend, Miss Underdown, she'll tell you I'm not lying. I'm not.
So, he took his chance while she was at dinner.
Please, Inspector. If my father finds out half of the family's collection has gone missing, and it's my fault, oh, just the thought of it. I've had the only key with me at all times. Father told me to keep it close.
Good advice.
He also said to write down the safe combination so I wouldn't forget it. Fat lot of use that did.
Don't go far. You're Miss Underdown, friend of Gerland. I need to confirm some details.
Yes, anything I can do to help, Inspector? Yes, Bernard joined us too. He's another guest. He's been keeping me company. I was surprised Mr. Rosaine wasn't there at dinner, actually.
People are noticing. Looks like someone sloppy with their execution. And after dinner, did you see Rosaine then?
No, Bernard and I were on the deck. I left him there to retire to bed. He wanted to get a photograph of something. I didn't see him either. On second thought, I don't think I've seen him the whole time we've been at sea.
Hide all you want. There's nowhere to run when surrounded by open water. You must be Rosaine.
About time.
Took the words out of my mouth. We need to talk.
Yes?
I've searched your cabin.
You've done what?
I've started my investigation. And right now, you're my prime suspect.
The telegram. I wanted to make sure what we were told is actually what it said.
I didn't think that was for guests' eyes.
I can be persuasive when I need to be. Or at least my wallet can. But it was a waste of time. It was all correct. Like I told everyone, I am not Lupin.
That settles it then. Your innocence is proved.
Inspector. You mean how they run, or...?
Just tell me who...
The porter's in the storage room. It's his job to know. It's called first class. I believe Miss Underdown is still with her male companion in the tea room. I presume the sobbing from the cabin is Miss Gerland, and Mr. Rosaine is on deck.
Your crew? And a certain major?
My first mate is in the crew quarters, and a porter is working in the storage room. Ah, yes, you mean Major Rawson. He's actually been in the infirmary with sickness since our first day at sea.
Oh, nice of him to tell me now. Oh, when will this incompetence end? What is that god-awful smell? It smells like...
Death. Oh, and lucky me gets to clean the trail all the way to the cabins.
Oh, there'll be people jumping overboard.
I'll be the first.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Go on. I wouldn't say suspicious. He was just one of the crew. I hadn't seen him before.
Arsene Lupin is on board, and you didn't think it could have been him in disguise?
If it was him, he didn't seem like a bad guy. Quite polite, actually.
Not a bad guy. When will people realize he's just a criminal who speaks like a gentleman? Who said I'm getting slow in my old age? Not as clever as you think, huh? Just some good old-fashioned police work.
You're back already? With your build?
Just answer the question.
You could if you wanted, but I wouldn't recommend it. I've only just fixed this one.
So, it could be done. The question is, has it?
There was no relaxing for him on board.
Inspector Ganimard or Arsene Lupin?
Both, it would seem.
Both living up to their names, just in different capacities.
I presume Inspector Ganimard wasn't having as much fun, though.
Yes?
It's always a game with him. I can't let him think he's got one over on me again.
I presume you mean my I had to do something. I couldn't let everyone carry on thinking I am him. There's a simple explanation. They were covered in hair dye and were stinking out the cabin. Good enough for you?
It would explain the strange smell on him now. Although, that's not dye.
She noticed?
As Arsene Lupin strikes, you're nowhere to be seen?
It wasn't really my choice. The captain made that decision for me. He got it into his head I was Arsene Lupin, and locked me up.
What proof did he have?
None, and that's why I'm free. What proof do you have?
No further questions.
Oh, part of me feels sorry for the inspector. He really had his work cut out for him.
What about Monsieur Rosen? He was the one being accused again.
And Mr. Rosen was the obvious suspect. The inspector obviously thought similarly.
Speak to the captain. Maybe he can explain what was going through his head.